Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be talking about the divisive subject of art. Now, before I begin, I do want to say that whichever approach to game art you take, if it's what you like, then it's the correct way to be doing it, no matter what somebody on the internet tells you. I don't want anyone to think that I'm hating on anyone's choices for their own games. Each designer and their game are different, and whichever choice they make in the creation of their game is totally the right choice for them. So why am I talking art in this video? Well, as I'm sure you've noticed, I haven't been doing daily videos for the past week, and that's because we got the game to its first prototype stage extremely quickly, which is awesome, but it does mean that updates slow down as I try to play the game as much as possible and tweak tiny rules and stats rather than making leaps and bounds when it comes to overall progress. With that in mind, I thought I'd talk about art because, well, I did something stupid. Not entirely stupid, and I am really happy with the result, but stupid nonetheless. I got bored of looking at plain white cards, and I wanted an indication of what my game would or could look like if it had some awesome artwork. I can't draw to save my life. I've tried, and all my cards would have stick figures on them if I were to do all the artwork myself. So I went onto Fiverr, and I paid someone to design the two captain card artworks for me. Which, you might be thinking, Matt, if you can't draw, then how is it stupid to get a talented artist to make the art for you? And if I'm being honest, well, my game just doesn't need art yet. It works functionally with just white cards, and art is kind of expensive, and it would be impossible for me, especially at this time, to get artwork made for the entire game. So, as I said, I've just had the two characters drawn, and I can hope, at least, that you can see how foolish that is. But, having said that, I do love the artwork, and I will share it in just a second. However, I want to talk about art style for a second. Again, this is a very divisive topic, and I don't want to get any hate, so I will preface this by saying, this is my opinion. Thus, it is completely invalid when it comes to shaping your own opinions. So, art style. When designing a TCG, there are two routes you can take for art, and I want to discuss their pros and cons in this video. The first is hand-drawn art, and this includes sketches or full-blown art that you make yourself. However, in this context, it does not refer to digital drawing. This is more of the Chaos Galaxy style of drawn on paper and then ever so slightly updated on the computer before becoming the final card art. So the pros with this style in my eyes are as follows. Number one, all of the cards are personal. You dedicate a lot of time and effort to make your cards and therefore get invested in your game. This can be great as a tool for motivation and keeping yourself enjoying the project. Number two, homemade art looks pretty cool if I'm honest, and you can really see the design choices and the personal touches of each individual artist. And most times you can see the art develop as the artist gets better with time, which is, again, great for keeping you motivated. Number three, with quick sketches or, if you're efficient, full pictures done and made, you can get your game to a selling point so much faster than with digital art. Obviously, cards need art to be sold, and if you make the art as you make the cards, then once a set is done, it can basically immediately be put up for sale. Number four, it is cheap. As long as you have pens, paper, and some creative talent, you can create artwork straight away. And if you have a bit of spare coin lying around, you can buy some decent art supplies and instantly upgrade your artwork while still keeping the rest of it and the production of it as cheap as possible. Now, on to some of the cons that I can see for drawn art. Number one, it requires a lot of work. You'll have to design, draw, and colour all of the artwork for your game yourself. And when you add that onto the energy spent creating the game as a whole, including rules and card design and all of that, it can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly, which brings me on to con 2. It can be demoralising. Yes, I know I said in pro number 1 that hand-drawn art can be great for motivation, but it can also be a major wall to getting your game done. Sometimes not having that pressure can be a little bit better and easier for actually making the game itself. Con number 3, hand-drawn art. Unfortunately, at least in my opinion, looks less professional than digital art. Whoa, I know. No, but just hear me out. I don't mean that hand-drawn art styles don't look good. Like I said before, Chaos Galaxy uses hand-drawn art, and Zach's cards look simply awesome. I just mean that digital art has a lot of room to make art look more realistic or professional, based on your chosen art style, simply because of the tools that digital art programs can afford their artists. It's a lot easier to do certain effects on a computer than it is to do with traditional mediums, or it's a lot easier, if not better. Now, with that bombshell out of the way, let's move on to digital artwork's pros and cons. So the pros that I see, number 1, your cards will be tied together with a professional look, and that helps make your game more approachable. If your game has hand-drawn art, as your skills develop, your cards will get better, obviously, but that can mean that your best card in the game looks the worst, and that can make it less approachable for people to get into the game if they're not willing to overlook those sorts of things. However, like I said, that doesn't mean that one way is better than the other. Pro number 2 for digital art. People who can't draw can get great looking cards through services like Fiverr and other online freelance marketplaces. I basically won't have a card game if I don't go through services like this. Number 3, getting other people to do your artwork for you frees up your time to continue making the game itself. Yes, data sheets are boring, but being free to do them lets you expand your game quickly without worrying about art. Now, on to the cons. I can only see one real big con to digital art, and it is the obvious one. Professional artwork is extremely expensive, and if you're looking at starter sets of cards, maybe 1 or 2 decks so the players can battle each other straight away with your collection, maybe you're looking at roughly 150 to 200 cards. You're looking at thousands of pounds in cost before you even make a penny. And that is a really big con. So as much as I stand here on my soapbox and I preach digital art over hand-drawn art, I'm unfortunately not made of money. And so I sort of shoot myself in the foot with this argument. But yes, digital art can be extremely expensive. As a side note, a sort of con to both sections, because that's what we want in this community, is more cons. A con to both sections is that if you ever want to take your game to a larger publisher, having art can help show them how you envisage your game, but you are almost guaranteed that they will change the art style to suit their company and their publishing house. That means that all the hard work or all of that money that you invested could kind of be wasted. It's not necessarily exciting or nice to think about, but it is something to consider when it comes to the art choices you make for your games. I personally still recommend stick people on all card games for the rest of forever. So I hope I didn't offend too many people in this video. I just wanted you to have another perspective when it comes to art for your games. Now really quickly before we end, I want to show you the art made for our pirate game, which still needs a name by the way, made by the fantastic Endariart? Endariart. I'm going to say Endariart. Over on Fiverr, I got 2 sketches made and then coloured one in myself because I'm cheap. However, I will of course be paying for a full colour and background piece for each and every card we make. Yes, bank account, I am terribly sorry. Now, I personally think the artwork is really cool and I'm very happy with the art style. If you guys have opinions on what I've said or the art style I've chosen for the game, please do leave a comment below. If you have any other questions or suggestions, also leave them in the comments and I will reply to all of them. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as long as I didn't upset too many of you, I will see you in the next one.